Well, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're doing. Welcome to my little channel. I am in the DA62 today, the Diamond Aviation 62. That's it there. And we are currently in Oban on the west coast of Scotland. I'm currently going through and getting ready to get the aircraft started up. Make sure I get the parking brake. That's on, is it? I believe it is. Ready to get everything going. So without further ado, we're going to be doing a flight today from Oban to Benbecula, which is in the Outer Hebrides. So AV master on. And the alternator's on yet. So fuel pump, master switch, and make sure I've got a throttle on the work there, and fuel is on, and engine. Checking our dials. And again, the right hand engine. Prop. Ooh, that one's not right. And let's just try that again. Go. So we'll just bring it back to idle. So you can see on the right hand screen there, we've got our flight plan dialed in. Just back off to idle. Off. We can ask for the guy to give us a little pushback. We should have our stroll on. There we go. And just let him deal with his equipment. More bolts. Should have the alternators on. Should sort that out. Pitot heat. We'll just put that on to check it. I don't think we're going to need it. So I'll switch that back off again. This guy doesn't look like he wants to give us a pushback for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he just can't get in position for whatever reason. So I'm going to try again. Maybe he's going to have another go. There we go. There we go, that should be better. He's going to push us back, so we're going to... The weather is looking very nice. He does this strange thing where he comes... Oh, he's just gone through the propeller again. Mate, you don't know what you're doing. Right, I think I'm not sure if we can. I'm not sure if we can use him or not. Oh, he's up down there. What is he doing over there? I think we're just going to have to call him off and see if I can wheel it round quite tightly. So let me get him out of the way. Do is take the brakes off. I'll just try a very tight turn using the left hand brakes. So go around, and there we go. So that's how we do that. for that van to get out of the way. So I'll take off today if I can spot the windsocks go. Move that one away. Move that way. Right. Just trying to see which way the wind's blowing. I've got no wind data in my computer as yet because it does take a little while. That way there. So we shall proceed to the north end of the runway. This runway seems to be a north-south. Let's go crosswind actually. We'll go to the north end. So flight time should be about half an hour. Thereabouts. We should get some nice scenery en route. We should get quite a good climb out of the DA62. Twin Pratt & Whitney engines, twin turboprops. I'm not sure if they are Pratt & Whitneys actually. That's probably enough. Let's just turn around here. Bring it around. Sky looks lovely. So we'll just hold there. Pop the parking brake on. Make sure we're lights on. We've got greens. Everything looks good. The canopy's locked. We are good to go. We have our flight plan dialed in. 87 knots. VR 76 knots. Rotate. So let us, without further ado, take the brakes off. Feed a bit of power in. A little bit more power just to keep it rolling down the runway. Airspeed's active, 32 knots coming up, 50 knots. We're wobbling a bit. Hold it steady, 76. And rotate. A little bit of a crosswind there. Just feel that, just holding it. And gear. That one coming up. And then we will turn to the west, the northwest. Head out over, I think the flight plan takes us over the top of Mull, which should be the island probably right in front of us now. And then out over it's probably the North Atlantic, I would imagine, toward the Outer Hebrides. So for altitude today, as we're in the DA62, we can quite happily cruise with a little bit more altitude, if that's your thing. So that's probably what we'll do. We'll need a little bit of altitude to get over what's coming up anyway. So there we are on the nose with the flight plan. We just need to go around to the left gently to keep it on that track. Bearing around about 309, 310. quite a nice aeroplane, this. Quite a nice aeroplane. I'd love to have a go in a real one. And we do have one at Staverton, which is my local airport. It is, I think it's in this colour scheme as well. It's in a blue colour. So I'm just going to pop the autopilot on, and it is into nav mode. I'm going to set the altimeter for 8,000. Let's try 8,000. So that should get us well clear of these hills, mountains. Climbing nice and steadily. And again, so we're in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 because I have not yet upgraded to 2024. To be honest, I'm not sure if my system will be able to cope with it because I still have a fairly old PC. I'm only running a 2080 graphics card, but with the Quest 3 headset and the settings I've got, which has taken quite a long time to fiddle with and get them right, I just don't know if it's worth going to 2024 at all. In 2020 the scenery looks good. There's plenty of add-ons that you can have, free and payware stuff. I'm getting good performance out of my PC. I don't want to upgrade the PC just for a perceived upgrade in Flight Sim 2024, which doesn't really deliver very much. So I'm not convinced as yet that it's a good time to take the plunge. So I've not, and to be honest, chances are I probably won't until such time as I invest in a new PC. There's nothing worse than upgrading your game and get it loaded on and it runs like a dog. So not that dogs run slow. I mean, dogs are pretty fast, but runs like a dog when its back legs are starting to go. Isn't a good thing. So I'm quite happy sticking to my Flight Sim 2020 at the moment. It does everything I need it to do. I'll take the lights off now. I've got a strobe on. So this, I believe we're crossing over the Isle of Mull at this point in time. And just to our right here, and to the north a little bit, is Night Sky, I believe. And basically after that we are in fairly open water until we get to the Outer Hebrides. I've set a waypoint for a place called Loch Boisdale, which is where the ferry port is, where the ferry docks. Now the ferry leaves Oban and docks at Loch Boisdale when you're travelling to the Outer Hebrides. I can't remember how long it takes. I do remember getting on that ferry one night. There's It's about 4 or 5 of us in a Sherpa van. Travelled to Loch Boysdale and drove up to Benbecula to the camp there. We stayed for about a week. It was at least a week, might have been 2 weeks, not sure. And then did the reverse journey back. Drove back, got a ferry to Oban, and then drove back to down to Bedfordshire. But I do remember it being really, really welcoming on the island itself. Really lovely bunch of people. We went to the pub one night, well, more than one night, but one night I do remember. It got a bit boisterous. Great fun. Great fun. Had a bit of a ceilidh going on. Let's not bother with 8,000 feet. Let's keep some scenery in view. We're not going to be gaining much by climbing still, so let's just sit 4,000 feet, 4,200, wherever we are, and zoom across the water. So yeah, the ferry docks in Loch Boysdale, and then there's a bit of drive up to Benbecula, which is an artillery, well, it's currently an artillery range. I think it always has been, or has been for a long time. So Royal Artillery use it as a range for live firing, weapons, missile systems, whatever. I'm not sure about that. We were doing an install of some communications equipment. Getting some speed up here. Might have to back the throttle off a little bit. Which is what we were there for. And as I said, it was either a week or 2 weeks, but probably more, closer to about a week that we spent there. Some of the beaches were some of the best beaches I've seen anywhere. And I do remember all of us were flattened on the beach one morning by 2 RAF Buccaneers flying at about, 50 feet. I mean, they were that low, and they came right across the top of the beach, and we all ended up eating sand. They must have been chuckling in the cockpit, no doubt. But little did they know we were in the RAF. They probably thought we were either locals or army guys. But there you go. Fun doesn't care. Fun just happens. Actually, I'm looking at the flight plan now. I think the flight plan is taking us straight over Sky. No, that's not Sky. It's not Leyland. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a strange one. It's a strange one. So we've got a bit of a distance now before anything else happens. So if I was you, and if I was watching this now, I'd fast forward it from about now, and then I'll do something with the mouse to either unfast it. But as it is, I'm quite happy sitting here, poodling along in the little DA62, which is a very nice plane. Very, very nice plane. That's the Badger there. How good does that look? Superb. Beautiful. Yeah, Yeah, so why upgrade to 2024 for the expense and potential poor performance from the sim? There's been lots of teething problems with it, I believe, because they've moved to a more streaming platform where the scenery doesn't live on your hard drive as it does with 2020. I think you kind of stream the scenery while you're in the game. Not that you don't, pardon me, not that you don't in 2020, but because obviously it can't load the whole world when you load the game up, so it does load it down in chunks, but it's moved to a more direct streaming model in 2024 where you're literally logged into the server and it's streaming the scenery to you, so your computer has got to do a bit more work to process that, which is why I think I would struggle with my current PC. I just don't think it would be up to it. Turn the lights up a little bit, it's getting a bit dark out here. So yeah, lovely plane. You can see in the back there, great seats in the back, lots of space, lots of room, very roomy indeed. Yeah, it's lovely. And it goes along at a fair lick. We're doing 177 knots at the moment. I should check my altimeter. Three. We're on. Transponder's on 7000, which is standard standard transponder digits before air traffic tell you to adopt a more specific one if they're tracking you. Do that, we could try calling air traffic in Benbecula and see what happens. Let's try that. Let's bring up air traffic, which is this one, and we can so we can tune Scottish Centre, which is the
Scottish Centre Diamond Golf Oscar Romeo Delta Oscar is type Diamond DA 6217 miles north of Echo Golf Echo Lima 4,200 feet. Request flight following.
Diamond Golf Oscar Romeo Delta.
There we go, we're getting a squawk code now.
Squawk 0023.
So 0023, I say, okay.
Squawk 0023 Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar.
And then if I tune it, there it goes.
Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar radar contact 17 miles north of Echo Golf Echo Lima 4,200 feet. Altimeter 30.23.
So she's giving us the QNH. She's giving us where we are, position, 17 miles north. And we can acknowledge radar contact. So
Roger Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar.
So what we can do is tune the airport. Now it might not be on here, but it is Benbecula. So there's Benbecula. We can listen to the ATIS message, the standard message on weather. In fact, we will do that. We'll do that.
Benbecula Airport information.
So I want to see which runway we're using.
Wind 277 at 5. Visibility tree. Sky condition. Few clouds at 2,000 feet. Few clouds at 4,900 feet. Few clouds at 18,300 feet. Temperature 1 tree. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.2 tree. Visual runway 24 in use. Landing and departing runway 24. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Yankee.
So we have Yankee information.
Benbecula Airport information.
Runway 24. So what you can do is then
Benbecula Tower
landing.
Diamond Golf Oscar Romeo Delta Oscar is 41 miles southeast 4,200 feet with Yankee to land.
Diamond Golf Oscar Romeo Delta Oscar Benbecula Tower. Altimeter tree 0.2 tree, wind 275 at 5. Make left traffic runway 24.
So left traffic runway 24.
Enter left traffic runway 24 Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar.
There we go. So that's pretty much the way air traffic works in Flight Sim 2020. It's all done using the mouse and selecting what you want to do, what you want to say. It's not very realistic. A lot of the time they use American terms for things that they don't actually use in the UK. But it, you know, it works okay. It's useful to a point. I'd love to be able to get on VATSIM one day, but I've not got the bottle. Well, I haven't got the kit. So you need I think you need some special kit. I'm not sure. Some hardware. So VATSIM is a virtual air traffic sim, so it's integrated into Flight Sim, and you have actual real people doing the air traffic function within the sim. So all the way from starting the engine to taxi clearance and clearance for takeoff, land, vectoring, or everything is done by people. So you're actually speaking to a live person who's controlling your activities in the sim, and it's obviously that gives you another level of realism in the sim that I don't have. I'd love to do it, I just don't have the bottle. Maybe I will one day, I don't know. I've looked into it a few times and thought, maybe not, it's not for me. Or maybe I will, because obviously this system with the air traffic thing is a bit naff. So all I've really got from that is that I'm doing a left-hand circuit and landing on runway 24. So if I look at my compass rose here, runway 24 will be sort of in that direction. So if you're landing on runway 24, it's to the direction of 240 degrees. So I'll be landing from here to there. And if I'm going to be doing a left-hand circuit, I'll be can I come up, join in the circuit, going round, and then the left-hand turn will be my final turn. So yeah, it gives you an approach to fly, or not an approach, but a visual approach to fly, and it adds a little bit. It adds a little bit of realism, but not a huge amount. Obviously, the best way to do it is to do it with real people. So, as I said, that is a bit trickier. That must be. I want to change. I want to go down some altitude. And I prefer to. So up ahead, it is a bit cloudy. So the weather report there, the ATIS, gave me a report that there's clouds, some clouds at 2,000 feet, some clouds at 4,000 feet. So I'm going to take the lesser of two evils and drop down to 2,500 feet, because Benbecula itself is fairly flat. And the one thing I did notice in a week of being here is that there weren't any trees. Trees do not grow here, and it's not very mountainous. It's really kind of just a very flat, level bit of land. So I'm just going to descend down to probably 2,500 feet. we're going to fly in towards Loch Boisdale, which is what we're doing now, which is the port, and then we're going to turn and head northwestish to land at Benbecula. We did not, so there is a scheduled flight which operates from Benbecula to Glasgow. There's at least one a day, I think. Maybe there's more than that, but there's probably at least one flight a day to and from Glasgow, and possibly other places. That was the one we noticed. And yeah, there's a great pub in town in Loch Boisdale. Proper Scottish pub where people were very welcoming. They were singing songs and drinking stuff, whiskey and stuff, other things that I'm able to. So I'm waving my mouse around as a sort of indication for people that have been fast forwarding over the last little bit that now's a good time to wake up, because now we're hitting some land. We should maybe see what landmarks are included in the game. I keep calling it a game. It's not a game as such. It is Flight Simulator. It's trying to simulate flying in flight and the world and stuff like that. So as I said, we're coming in. Now Loch Boisdale is not a big place by any means, but there is a little ferry terminal there, a little harbour, little port, which I'm kind of hoping to see. And then we may see the road. There's pretty much only one road in the place that runs north. And if we can pick that up and just follow it north, I do remember a bit that we went over that was very... it went over a thing like a bridge, but it wasn't like a bridge. Just hold the altitude there. So I do believe down, scraping my head on the cockpit here, that'll be, if I can see over the side here, I'm just going to be turning now. The ferry port will be just underneath us here. There's the road. Oh, there we go. Oh, can I see out? Can't really see out. There's the ferry port. Yeah, ferry terminal. Yeah, got it. There we go. Look at that. Beaches and great scenery. Yeah, it was really, really nice. Now I can't spot a road heading north. It kind of went right up the middle of the island, but nobody can see it. Let me know when I follow it. If not, we'll just follow this vector that we are on, because I can't see a road anywhere. Now if there's a bit here, there is a bit, you can see it if I zoom in here. I zoom in there. I can't move the map. Can I plan the map? Yeah, this bit here. Now the road definitely goes across between these two kind of. This is south Uist, I believe, and this is north Uist. The road goes between them, there is a little bridgey bit, and that's where the road is. So I'm really hoping to try and see that bit. But as you, well, hang on a minute, this is not right. There are trees here. Now I know for real that there aren't any trees, so we'll imagine that these are big bushes. because there were some of them, but there were certainly not any trees, I remember. And we also had a drive up to the north end of the North Uist as well. I think we did spot one tree, what was claiming to be a tree. It was more of a stick. Aha! Now I can see up ahead, over the top of the nose here, in that area there, there seems to be a connection between the south bit of land and the north bit of land. Now we're actually only 11 miles away from the airfield anyway, so what we might do is take the autopilot off and fly it. It's a little bit windy actually. We've got a bit of a tailwind, which is saying it's only 5 knots, but every so often it feels like we're getting a bit of a gust, a bit of a whoosh, a bit whooshy. And oh, there's a bridge here. It was more of a road. The road was just very low. It wasn't a bridge. It didn't go up and over. It just maintained the same level, but it was slightly above the level of the water. Not very much at all. Right, I'm going to take the autopilot off and power off. I'm going to just drop down. And there's the road. Is that the road? No, it doesn't go in the water there. Maybe it does. But it did cross a few of these little bits of water. That is probably the road that I'm seeing just below me here. I believe it will be. And it will cross. Cross between the islands just here. It go. There's way too much vegetation down there in reality, in the sim, for what is in reality very, very barren. So it's pushing the road off to the left. I don't want to follow it. Do I should come back around to the right again. Where's it going? It's going right out to So we're coming up on Benbecula airfield now. So the 2-4 approach is the one that I'm on, so I need some flap. And at some point, hopefully, air traffic are going to basically join the circuit here, and then we'll be going out over, I'll do that now, a little bit low, and we'll be joining the circuit. So let's sort that out before we get any further away. probably on parallel. We're a little bit far away from the runway. We're just heading downwind currently.
Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar, wind 28 tree at 6. Clear to land runway 24.
So we've got clearance to land.
Clear to land runway 24 Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar.
So our landing clearance sorted. We're now in a good position to turn onto base flag. Final. So let's have a flaps down. Come around, line up on the centre line. A little bit more. Don't drop too much. Keep the power on. Speed about 80 knots is good. It's a decent speed. There we are. The Pappies are sounding low, but we're okay. Runway 24. Over the threshold. And gently idle the engine back. And on the runway, and then we'll take the flaps up.
Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar, turn next taxiway.
Turn next taxiway, will do. So are there any taxiways you can see? I can't see any because there's probably none. We'll have to get to, well, you can see the tower. And I would imagine that the terminal building, etc., etc., is in the vicinity of the tower. Not that I know, because I've not been flown into here before, or been here before. So I'm not expecting very much in the way of scenery or anything like that. But we should have a route to... This is a lot bigger than I was expecting.
Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar, exit runway when able.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so we can get. Oh no, hang on. There is some yellow. There's some yellow lines there. There's gotta be. Yeah, there we go. We'll head off here. Just get our speed
Diamond
down a bit.
Romeo Delta Oscar, contact ground on 119.205.
119.205. Jolly good, thanks for that.
119.205 Diamond Romeo Delta Oscar. Goodbye.
So what we have here is we probably have a couple of marshallers on my left here that are waiting to wave us in. So we'll play the game. We'll see if he gets his bats out. And I'm not coming in on that one, I'm coming in on this next one. Let's see where we get to. See if we can park up nicely. I've stopped. That's really good. Okay, straight in. And stop there. I did stop when you said. Oh, this guy is hard to please. Right, got you now. There you go. Right, so we have the parking brake set. We need to... Do we need to go through the... Well, we need to take the lights off because we're probably blinding that guy. Take position off. Okay, shut down my right engine. Shut down my left engine. And that's about it. So there we are, we're in Benbecula. And it looks, yeah, flat and lonely, like it is. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.